Pain has a way of making you question if you're built for the life you're praying for. You start thinking maybe you asked for too much, maybe the dream was too big. But pain is the sign that you're still alive, still in motion, still fighting for something bigger. If you were finished, if you were done, you wouldn't feel anything at all. Pain is proof you still have skin in the game. When you wake up with a heavy heart and a tired body, that's not the universe telling you to quit. That's life showing you the price of growth. Nothing worth having comes without pressure. The weight you feel isn't punishment, it's resistance. And resistance only shows up when you're pushing against something. If you've ever gone to the gym, you know lifting nothing doesn't build strength. You only grow when you put something heavy on your back and push against it. That soreness in your muscles tells you they're being stretched, they're being rebuilt. The same way the pain in your spirit is telling you you're being stretched into the person God intended. There's a reason soldiers don't get medals without battle. Pain is the sign you're in the middle of a fight worth winning. It's not the end, it's evidence. If the pain is strong, it means the victory on the other side is going to be greater. Too many people quit because they confuse pain with defeat. But let me tell you, pain is not defeat. Pain is a teacher. Pain is preparation. It's shaping your character. It's teaching you patience. It's building resilience that comfort never could. Nobody gets strength out of luxury. Strength comes when you have to hold on, even when everything in you says let go. You can't pray for elevation and then reject the pain that prepares you for it. You can't ask God to bless you and then run from the process that makes you ready. Pain is the proof you're still in the fight, and being in the fight means you still have a chance. So when the pain comes, don't let it convince you to quit. Let it remind you that you're still standing, still moving, still breathing, still reaching for something worth it. Because if you weren't on your way to something great, you wouldn't feel it this deeply. If your life feels heavy, if you feel like everything is stacked against you, that's because you're in motion. Struggles don't chase people who are standing still. Struggles only show up when you're moving towards something greater. If you were comfortable, if you weren't pushing, the enemy wouldn't even bother with you. Think about it. When was the last time you struggled over something you didn't care about? You don't fight over things that don't matter. Struggles attach themselves to the things that carry value. The reason your journey feels so hard is because what you're carrying is worth something. The storm is not evidence you're lost, it's evidence you're crossing over. Every struggle is the bridge between where you are and where you're going, and the bridge always shakes when you're walking across it. That doesn't mean it's collapsing, it means you're moving forward. Most people see struggle as a stop sign. They see the mountain, they see the weight, and they think it means turn back. But struggle is really the green light that says you're going the right way. If you weren't heading somewhere important, the resistance wouldn't even show up. Don't curse your struggle. Don't despise it. That pressure you feel, that tug in your chest, that weight on your shoulders, it's confirmation that you're pushing into new territory. Growth doesn't happen in silence. It happens in the sound of stretching, in the push against the thing that doesn't want to move. Your struggle is shaping your capacity. Every time you get up after being knocked down, your capacity increases. Every time you push through tears and exhaustion, your spirit gets stronger. Struggles don't just test you, they prepare you for the victory ahead. So the next time life throws a struggle your way, instead of asking, why me, start asking, what's next? Because struggle means progress, and progress means you're on your way to something greater. We live in a culture where everything is instant. Food comes fast, answers come fast, even validation comes fast. So when God makes you wait, it feels like He forgot about you. But waiting is not rejection. Waiting is not denial. Waiting is how God sets the stage for the right moment. A delay doesn't mean God is saying no. It means He's saying not yet. And there's a big difference. If you get something too early, before you're ready, it can destroy you. God loves you too much to give you a blessing you're not built to carry. So He delays it, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Think about fruit. If you pick it too early, it's bitter. It's not that it will never be sweet, it's just not ready yet. The same thing happens with your dreams. If God gave them to you before the time was right, they wouldn't taste the way they're supposed to. The delay makes them sweeter. The waiting room is uncomfortable. You sit there with questions, with doubts, with frustration. But while you're waiting, God is working. He's moving pieces you can't see. He's lining up people, opportunities, and resources that will only make sense when it all comes together. Don't mistake silence for absence. Just because you don't see anything changing doesn't mean God isn't moving behind the curtain. The best shows don't start until all the lights, props, and players are in position. Your life is the same way. The delay is God arranging the stage. When you're in delay, it's easy to look at everybody else and think they're getting ahead of you. But what looks like speed for them might actually be shortcuts. And shortcuts don't last. What God is building in you during the delay will stand longer because it's built on foundation, not on sand. So the next time it feels like God is taking too long, remind yourself, He's not denying me. He's preparing me. He's not late. He's right on schedule. The delay is the setup for a blessing that will be worth every minute of waiting. Quitting feels easy in the moment, but it carries a price tag you don't see until later. You think you're letting go of stress, you think you're escaping pressure, but what you're really giving up is the reward that was just around the corner. Quitting costs more than holding on because it takes away the future you were working for. Every sacrifice you've made, every tear you've cried, every sleepless night you've endured, if you quit, all of that becomes wasted effort. You don't just lose what you're holding, you lose everything you've invested up until now. You're throwing away not only the destination, but also the journey that got you this far. People often quit not because they're weak, but because they underestimate how close they are. Imagine digging for gold and walking away after years of work, only to leave when you're inches from striking it. That's what quitting too soon looks like. You can't see how close you are, but the moment you stop, you'll never know what could have been. Holding on might hurt, but quitting leaves scars. It's better to carry the pain of perseverance than the regret of surrender. Regret has a way of haunting you, of replaying the moment you walked away, of reminding you of the doors you never opened because you gave up before God moved. Quitting is also contagious. Once you teach yourself to quit in one area, it becomes easier to quit in others. You quit on the job, then you quit on relationships, then you quit on yourself. Before you know it, quitting becomes a lifestyle. That's why you've got to resist the urge, even when it feels unbearable. The truth is, holding on doesn't last forever. Breakthroughs seasons change, storms pass. But if you quit before the shift happens, you rob yourself of the reward waiting on the other side. Holding on may feel expensive now, but quitting will cost you far more later. So before you throw in the towel, ask yourself, am I giving up because it's over, or am I giving up because it's hard? Hard doesn't mean hopeless. Hard means I'm on the edge of something worth it. You're under pressure, but pressure isn't your enemy, it's your trainer. Diamonds don't come from calm environments. They're formed deep underground, under heat and pressure. The very thing that looks like it's crushing you might actually be shaping you into the rarest version of yourself. Pressure reveals strength. Without it, you'd never know what you're capable of. It's the late nights, the rejections, the disappointments that push you past your limits and stretch you into new capacity. The blessing is not that the pressure goes away, but that you survive it and come out stronger. A lot of people pray for greatness, but don't realize greatness is forged in struggle. You don't get promoted without proving you can handle weight. God applies pressure because He knows what's inside of you. You may feel like you're being buried, but in reality, you're being refined. Pressure also separates the real from the fake. Under light conditions, everything shines, but when the weight comes down, only the real can withstand it. That's why not everyone who starts the journey will finish with you. Pressure eliminates the ones who aren't built for the next level. When you're under pressure, you can't panic. Panic makes you quit. Pressure requires patience. Diamonds aren't made overnight. They take years of consistent heat. Your process might feel long, but it's necessary. The longer the pressure, the purer the shine. And when you finally come through it, people won't understand what it took to become who you are. They'll see the shine, but not the struggle. They'll admire the result, but never know the weight you carried to get there. Pressure always hides the process, but it always reveals the product. So instead of running from pressure, lean into it. Tell yourself, I'm not being punished, I'm being polished. Because pressure is the proof that something valuable is being created in you. Anybody can smile when everything is going right. It's easy to be faithful when the bills are paid, the job is secure, and the family is at peace. But the real test of endurance comes when none of those things line up, and yet you choose to keep moving. That's where God measures what's inside of you. Endurance is about staying power. It's about what you do when the applause stops, when the money runs low, when the people you counted on walk away. Can you still believe in what you prayed for when nothing around you looks like it's working? That's what endurance looks like. Life, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Sprinters burn out quick because they put everything into the first few steps. But those who endure pace themselves, trusting the finish line will come if they just keep going. Endurance doesn't mean speed, it means consistency. God allows struggles to test your endurance because He wants to know if He can trust you with more. If you can't handle the pressure of a small assignment, how can He trust you with the weight of a big blessing? Endurance proves capacity. And endurance builds character. Every time you push past the point of quitting, your faith muscle grows. Every time you hold on when it would have been easier to let go, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you thought. That character is what makes you ready for what's next. Testing doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. Without a test, you wouldn't even know what's inside of you. Endurance uncovers strength you didn't know you had, faith you didn't know you carried, and resilience you never thought possible. So when life tests you, don't complain about the weight. Recognize that the test is evidence you're trusted with something bigger. Endurance is the bridge between where you are and where God is trying to take you. There's a strange thing about breakthroughs. They often come at the moment you feel you can't take another step. It's when you're at your lowest, when you've got nothing left, when you're convinced you're finished, that God shows up. The breaking point is not the end, it's the place where miracles are born. Look back at your life. How many times did the blessing come when you were ready to walk away? That job came after rejection letters piled up. That opportunity came after doors kept slamming shut. That healing came after you thought you couldn't endure the pain another day. The breaking point always precedes the miracle. The reason it feels hardest at the end is because the enemy knows you're close. He throws everything at you, doubt, fear, exhaustion, because he knows if you push one more step, the blessing will hit. That's why quitting at the breaking point is the most dangerous thing you can do. Breaking points strip you of ego. They take you to a place where you can't rely on your own strength anymore, and that's when God moves. He doesn't show up when you think you've got it all together. He shows up when you've run out of options and all you can do is trust Him. The breaking point also teaches you gratitude. When you've been at rock bottom, you appreciate the mountaintop differently. The miracle means more because you know what it cost to get there. The breaking point makes the blessing unforgettable. And sometimes the breaking point isn't about you, it's about showing others what faith looks like. People are watching how you handle the weight. They're learning from your endurance. And when your miracle comes, it becomes proof for them that God can do it for them too. So don't misinterpret the breaking point. It's not your finish line, it's your threshold. Hold on, because miracles don't show up when it's easy. They show up when it's impossible. People will talk, they'll criticize, they'll doubt you. But what they say has no authority over what God has spoken. The opinions of people can't cancel the promises of God. If He started it, nobody can stop it. Enemies will always exist. The more you rise, the louder they get. But their words are just noise. They can't alter your destiny. They can't erase what's already been written. Haters don't have the final say. God does. Sometimes God even allows enemies to surround you so that when He blesses you, there's a witness. Your haters become the audience to your elevation. The very people who said you'd never make it will be the ones forced to watch you shine. You don't need to clap back at every critic. You don't need to prove yourself to doubters. Your success, your survival, your breakthrough will speak louder than anything you could ever say. Let your results silence the noise. When you focus on enemies, you get distracted. When you focus on God, you stay aligned. Stop wasting energy fighting battles that don't matter. The fight is not with them. It's with yourself, with doubt, with fear. Your enemies aren't blocking you. Distraction is. And here's the truth. Sometimes enemies push you further than friends ever could. Their doubt fuels your drive. Their rejection forces you to create your own lane. Their opposition becomes the very reason you dig deeper. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them laugh, because at the end of the day, their words are powerless against what God has already put in motion. Your future is not in their hands, it's in His. Setbacks are not the end of your story. They're detours that reroute you to where you need to be. Sometimes you lose what you thought you needed so God can replace it with what you actually need. The job you lost, the relationship that ended, the door that closed, it wasn't punishment, it was positioning. Think about how many times you thought something was the worst thing that could happen, only to look back later and realize it was the best thing for you. That door that shut forced you to knock on a better one. That rejection made you work harder. That loss opened the path for something greater. Setbacks are part of the process. They slow you down, but they don't stop you. In fact, they teach you lessons success never could. You learn humility when you fall. You learn creativity when the plan fails. You learn resilience when life forces you to start over. A setup always hides inside the setback. You may not see it immediately because pain blinds you to purpose, but once the storm clears, you realize God was aligning things you never would have chosen for yourself. That setback was the soil where your future was planted. Don't let a temporary loss make you think the journey is over. The setback doesn't erase the promise, it just changes the route. Sometimes you have to lose ground to gain perspective. Sometimes you have to go backwards to gather the strength to launch forward. Even when people count you out, God counts you in. They may think the setback disqualified you, but God uses the very thing that broke you as the foundation for your comeback. The bigger the setback, the stronger the setup waiting on the other side. So instead of letting setbacks defeat you, let them redirect you. See them for what they are, not the death of your dream, but the doorway to the next chapter. When life feels quiet, when prayers feel unanswered, when it seems like heaven has gone on mute, it's easy to think God has left you. But silence is not absence. Just because you can't hear Him doesn't mean He's not working. Think about school. Teachers are most silent during tests. They're in the room, watching, present, but they don't speak because it's time for you to apply what you've already learned. That's how God operates. Silence is a test of trust. Silence is also a season of development. Just because you don't see progress doesn't mean nothing's happening. Seeds grow underground, hidden from sight, long before they ever break the surface. God's work in your life is often the same way. When God is silent, He's teaching you to rely on faith instead of feelings. Feelings change, faith sustains. If you only trust Him when you feel Him, your trust is shallow. Silence deepens your faith because it forces you to believe without evidence. The silence also eliminates distractions. It makes you pay attention to what's inside you instead of what's around you. Sometimes God quiets everything because He wants you to hear yourself, to recognize the strength He already placed in you. And when He finally speaks again, the word will mean more because of the weight. Silence creates appreciation. It makes you treasure his voice when it returns because you know what it's like to miss it. So don't confuse his silence with his absence. He's there, he's watching, he's working, he's preparing the breakthrough behind the scenes, waiting for the right moment to release it. The reason the fight feels so hard is because the blessing is so big. Small battles don't come with great rewards. If what you were after didn't matter, the resistance wouldn't be this heavy. The size of your struggle is a direct reflection of the size of your blessing. When David faced Goliath, the giant wasn't proof that God abandoned him. The giant was proof that the reward would be historic. The fight looked impossible because the blessing was incredible. Every big battle in your life is attached to something greater than you can imagine. Don't get so focused on the pain of the battle that you forget the prize attached to it. The battle is temporary. The blessing is permanent. The hardship will pass, but the reward will carry you for a lifetime. The blessing is always bigger than the battle. If you quit in the middle, you'll never taste the sweetness of victory. You'll never know that all the nights you cried, all the sacrifices you made, all the times you pushed through exhaustion, they were worth it because of what came after. The battle hurts, but the blessing heals. The bigger the obstacle, the bigger the testimony. Nobody remembers the easy victories. They remember the impossible ones. The struggle you're in right now is going to be the story you tell when God brings you through. The harder the battle, the greater the glory. And when you finally step into that blessing, you'll look back and realize the fight was necessary. It wasn't there to kill you. It was there to qualify you. God doesn't give big blessings to people who can't handle big battles. So if you're in the middle of a giant battle right now, don't panic. Smile, because it means the blessing waiting on the other side is bigger than anything you've seen before. The fastest way to kill your confidence is to compare yourself to somebody else. The moment you look at their life, their house, their success, and measure yourself against it, you rob yourself of peace. Comparison is the thief of joy, and it will drain you if you let it. Your journey is yours. Nobody else has walked through your storms, cried your tears, carried your pain, or fought your battles. So why compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 20? You don't know what they went through to get where they are, and they don't know what you're carrying right now. Social media makes it worse. You're scrolling through highlight reels, comparing your behind the scenes to somebody else's best moments. You don't see their struggles, their failures, their insecurities. You're comparing your reality to their illusion. When you live in comparison, you lose gratitude for what you already have. You stop appreciating your blessings because you're too busy wishing you had someone else's. Gratitude and comparison can't live in the same heart. One will push the other out. Comparison also delays progress. While you're busy watching someone else run their race, you stop running yours. You can't reach your finish line if you're staring at someone else's lane. Focus is the fuel for success, and comparison steals that focus. The truth is, God made your path unique. He built your story to fit you. Nobody else can live your life the way you can. If you waste time comparing, you'll miss out on the beauty of what's designed specifically for you. So stop measuring yourself against people who aren't meant to be your standard. The only person you need to be better than is who you were yesterday. If you wait until you have everything figured out, you'll never start. Faith is stepping out when the path isn't clear. Faith is trusting God even when the math doesn't add up. Faith doesn't need proof, it just needs belief. Think about every great achievement in your life. None of them came with a full instruction manual. You didn't know exactly how it would work out, but you took the step anyway. That's what faith looks like. Moving when you don't know the whole story. Faith is uncomfortable. It requires risk. It asks you to step into the unknown, to leave behind safety and predictability. But it's in that place of uncertainty that God does His best work. The unknown is where miracles happen. When you demand all the answers, you remove the need for faith. If you knew every detail, you wouldn't need to trust God. Faith fills the gap between what you know and what you hope for. It bridges the space between your effort and His promise. Faith also grows through action. The more steps you take without seeing the outcome, the stronger your trust becomes. You learn by doing. You discover by moving. Faith is not passive, it's active. It's not waiting on the couch, it's walking toward the promise. And here's the thing. Faith doesn't guarantee the absence of fear. You can be afraid and still move. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act anyway. Faith says, I may not know how, but I believe it's possible. So don't sit still waiting for clarity. Take the step, move forward, trust that God will meet you where your faith carries you. The fact that you're still here proves it. You've survived storms that should have broken you. You've walked through fires that should have burned you, and yet you're still standing. Don't underestimate the strength God put in you. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting up every time you do. You've had days where you wanted to quit and yet you didn't. You've had nights where you cried yourself to sleep, but you woke up and faced the next day. That's strength, even if you don't recognize it. Life has tested you in ways you didn't think you could handle, but you made it through. You've been stretched, bent, pushed to the edge, but you didn't break. That means you're stronger than your excuses, stronger than your fears, stronger than your doubts. People around you might not see your strength because they don't know your battles. They don't know the weight you carry every day just to keep moving. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, it's hidden, it's simply refusing to give up when nobody's watching. Strength grows in struggle. Every challenge you overcome adds another layer to your resilience. Every hardship you endure adds another tool to your toolbox. What looked like weakness at first glance has actually been training you for strength. And strength isn't just for you, it's for the people who need your example. Somebody else is watching your perseverance, drawing hope from your endurance. Your strength is proof that survival is possible, even when life feels unbearable. So don't doubt yourself. You're stronger than your past, stronger than your pain, stronger than you ever realized. The proof is in the fact that you're still standing. Life doesn't hand out trophies to people who almost made it. The crown doesn't go to the runner who stopped a few feet from the finish line. The reward belongs to the one who refuses to quit, the one who keeps going no matter how tired, how beaten, or how broken they feel. The road to success is filled with people who started strong but stopped short. They had the talent, the vision, the opportunity, but they didn't have the endurance. The difference between those who win and those who don't is not always skill, it's stamina. Refusing to quit means pushing through when the excitement is gone. Anybody can start a new dream with passion, but it takes discipline to keep chasing it when the passion fades. Discipline carries you where motivation won't. The reward is not just about reaching the goal, it's about proving to yourself that you had the resilience to get there. Every time you refuse to quit, you add another layer to your confidence. You realize you're capable of more than you ever believed. And here's the truth. The moment you quit, all the work you've done up to that point goes to waste. But the moment you push through, all the work compounds into victory. The reward belongs to the finisher, not the starter. Your refusal to quit also inspires others. People are watching you, and when they see you hold on through adversity, it gives them permission to do the same. Your perseverance becomes somebody else's fuel. So hold on, keep pushing. The reward is waiting on the other side of your refusal to quit. It belongs to the one who keeps moving forward, no matter how hard the journey gets. You've cried, you've sacrificed, you've waited. Don't you dare quit before God shows up. The blessing you've been praying for, the miracle you've been believing in, the breakthrough you've been working toward, it could be one step away. The enemy knows how close you are, and that's why the pressure feels unbearable right now. He wants you to quit too soon. He wants you to walk away right before the door opens. But if you can hold on a little longer, you'll see what all the pain was for. God doesn't move on your schedule, but He always moves on time. You may feel like you've reached the end, but God sees the bigger picture. He knows the right moment to flip everything in your favor. If you quit now, you'll never see it. You'll never know what was waiting just on the other side of your perseverance. You'll never witness the miracle that was already in motion. Quitting cuts off the blessing before it can reach you. Sometimes the hardest part of faith is the last stretch. It's the final lap, the last mile, the closing chapter where everything in you screams, "I can't go on." But that's usually the moment when God is about to reveal what He's been preparing. Don't let the weight of right now make you forget the promise of what's next. You've come too far, fought too hard, survived too much to give up here. This is not where your story ends. It's where the shift happens. So keep pushing, keep believing, keep holding on, because God is about to move, and when He does, it will make every struggle, every tear, every sacrifice worth it.